Already.
Pop. Pop pop. Pop. Pop pop. Pop. Pop pop. Pop. Pop.
Hello and welcome to Misfits and Monsters. I'm your scary neighbourhood dungeon master Aaron, and I'm extremely pissed off with Discord. So, starting as we mean to go on, fuck you Discord. Fuck you and thank you at the same time.
In equal measure.
Yeah, improve your fucking services. Right, maybe that's asking a lot in this current climate. But whatever, fuck off. We're missing some folks because of teething and drama. So this session we've got mostly everybody but Mike and Pat. So yeah. Introduce yourselves and stuff. So, who wants to go first? I'm not picking anybody. Somebody volunteer. Who's ready?
I'll go first.
Okay, good on you.
Mike, I am playing Ezra. Roguishly handsome. May not be human, but we really haven't admitted to that yet. He is adding certain eloquence to the party, which I feel like desperately needs. And has been recently working on his fine speech practice skills, which he put to good use last.
Cool.
Nice. Thank you, Mike.
So he's a fire paladin, in case no one goes back class.
Look, we're British. It's all about class, Mike.
It's a classless society.
Okay. Let's go anti-clockwise. Max, you've been away for a week. People have missed you. Remind them of who and why you are.
Hi, I'm Max, and I play 20 characters. One of them's called Bob, the other one's called Grog.
You speak like this, one's low, one's
high. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what's going on. I think we went to the Underdark. I wasn't really paying attention.
No, but okay, right.
It might have been a dream.
Yeah, nightmare.
So you went in your feeding dream. Yeah.
Okay.
The Undermountain. I guess you'll find out very soon.
Yeah, we'll learn you.
Me.
Yeah, Craig, you go.
Okay. I play Cray, a reptilian bugbear fighter, desperate to redeem himself for releasing great terror into the realm. He's thrown his lot into the Misfits, joining the Misfits. Yes.
Okay. Haz, step up.
Hello, I'm Haz. I play our hex-linking, spell-filled, pumpkin spice human symbiote with the dash of spinning and a hint of pure evil intent in his eyes.
Delicious.
Someone endorse me.
Can we please be sponsored by Starbucks seasonal pumpkin
Pumpkin-
latte.
pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah, pumpkin spice.
And PSL.
We'll have Bramble's visage in the middle of the mermaid logo instead of the mermaid. Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh, hello, Freya.
Fuck it, we'll do it for free.
Yeah, that would be a good t-shirt.
Oh, Starbucks are notorious for suing people about infringing upon that copyright.
So
We'd have to be careful. Yeah, they love suing poor comic book artists for that sort of thing. Right,
Don't doubt it.
Kat, you're last but you're not
Me,
least.
that's right.
Give us the skinny.
No, I'm not least. I'm the fieriest one here. So I play Kayla. She's our super power mage. She likes whips, chains, lots of us, flames, fire. Yeah, she's that's the
Horns, flames, whips, chains.
Horns,
Pass the hot sauce.
It's imagery there.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's just
What
just
audience are we?
visuals,
What
I think.
demographic are we trying to reach with that one? I don't, you know what? I know what demographic we're trying to reach with that one. Cat. That's- Demon babes. That's it.
Demon babes. Yeah.
There wasn't enough of it out there in the world, so you were like, I'm going to deliver. I'm going to deliver this.
Get some more demon babes.
Okay, so brief recap for Max's benefit because he missed the session due to all this fucking nonsense. So
And forgetting.
and no, Max, you made them peek
No,
behind the
yeah,
curtain of your own ineptitude.
Oh, terrible.
I gave you an out. So you guys said it's convenient to blame children for any of your lapses in punctuality. Now we've got coronavirus to blame on for everything.
Yep.
Absolutely, Discords, problems,
I'm
coronavirus.
a perfect person.
Yeah.
I've not showered today, coronavirus.
I was afraid of being in the water.
Coronavirus.
Apparently we're not supposed to be joking about coronavirus though, because you get cancelled by people. So
It's better to make light things than
yeah,
dwell on the
and we're not allowed
darkness.
to have a sense of humour in like gallows humour. Like this is Britain, and if you don't
That's
understand
how
that,
we cope with this kind of thing.
Yeah,
if you don't understand that about the British, then I
Yeah.
don't know.
we look things face on
And laugh at it.
And laugh at it.
Yeah. How do you think we got through World War II? That was a bunch of British people just going like.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And turning away and going,
It's very much the this fine dog.
this is fine, yeah.
okay, so you met with a hippo woman in the yawning portal, climbed out of the hole in the middle of the yawning portal to warn you of a coming threat that her and her platoon had learnt of. And just to cut things short, you got talking with her and agreed to arrange a meeting with the Open Lord of Waterdeep via your connections with the Blackstaff and Mert, so that she could give her this information in corroboration with your own findings about this looming threat by this cult, chaotic coalition that are apparently, yeah. Did you like that? That was Stan Lee worthy. That was. Excelsior! Shit. Now you've derailed me. I'm already like half a brain today, Craig. And so, yes, you met with the Open Lord of Waterdeep, who is incredibly sceptical of your ability and competence, but Voira, the Blackstaff, backed you up, and she assigned. Oh God, my brain is gone.
You've got task, right?
Dora Beth Rumpington is the name of the
Dora Beth.
the GIF. I don't know how it's pronounced. Woman that
Pretty endless
you
today.
befriended, and she's been assigned to help prepare the city to defend itself from a potential threat that will emerge in the castle ward, which apparently could be a creature of a Terrasque size proportions. So we're talking a Dai Kaiju, gargantuan beast. And she and her platoon have some experience in hunting and toppling humongous monsters, so she's going to lend the city her expertise. Meanwhile, Laeral Silverhand, the Open Lord, asked you if you could use your underworld connections that you'd earned through the Dung Sweepers, as well as through your own means, like Calamari is a member of the Zentarim, for example. If you could go around to some of the faction members spread throughout the city and recruit them in aiding in the city's defence. So Calamari was, because of his Zentarim allegiance, went to see a Zentarim contact and fucked up and ended up going to the wrong place and having an encounter with a weird Kenku assassin. And Bramble descended into the sewers based on some intelligence that you had about the location of a Xanathar guild hideout. He was, through some negotiation with some less than bright goblins, he was allowed into the deeper into that hideout to meet with their leader, name of Grumshar. Yep, I believe he's a half orc. Is he a half orc?
Yeah, half orc.
Half orc Grumshar. Yeah. So, and that's as far as we got really. So, Groggot Boggart, being as Calamari isn't here, we need to give you something to do, because Sif was going to go and meet with the Shard Shunners, which is another faction within the city that has quite a lot of influence and members that could aid in the fight against these creatures that could descend at any moment. So, do you want to take that instead of Sif, or should we say you went along with Sif to do that? So, most of you were going to go and talk to the Dung Sweepers, weren't you? About their connect. Who is it that was going to do that? Somebody remind me. Who was going to go and talk to the Dung Sweepers?
I was going to go speak to the captain.
You were going to talk to the Castellanters. Yes, that's good. That's right.
Yeah.
Ezra was going to speak to. Ezra went and spoke to the Order of the Gauntlet and successfully recruited them, which was,
He did a rousing speech.
Yeah, he gave like a epic end of the movie. Cancelling the apocalypse type business.
Yeah, it was some crazy.
So, Bogrog, what do you want to do? You've been assigned the Shard Shunners.
We have the Shard Shunners left. The Dragon, Ornax, Gold Dragon on the Vault, which is like a good duo of the team. Is it? Oh, Davil was.
Well, that's who Calamari's gone to see, because he kind of knows of him.
Also, Sholster Silvermane of the Lords Alliance Portal, Jared Falcon, representative of the Emerald Enclave. There's a few that we should do.
Well, no one volunteered. No one volunteered for that, so I mean, I don't know unless Bogrog wants to go and do that.
Yep, I'll head that direction. Do I know where it is?
At the Gardens of Falconmere.
In the South Ward, there's a place called the Gardens of Falconmere, and that's apparently where Jerry Falcon can be communicated with. So.
Okay, I'll start heading that way then.
Righto.
Would you like me to know?
So you make your way to the South Ward. You locate the Gardens of Falconmere, and I don't think it's actually on the official map, is it? Did anybody find it?
I'm just looking now.
It's not, is it?
I don't I'll let you know if I do find it.
Oh wait, far from me. Yes, it is. It is, yeah.
Whereabouts?
South Ward. You just type PHAUL. So it's off Slop Street or.
Good God, it is as well. Yeah.
By Jove!
It's off the main road, Way of the Dragon. Between Way of the Dragon and Slop Street.
So Grogbog, you're there basically.
Sorry, cut out for me there.
What?
Oh, you
It cut off.
just got out. Probably just.
Yeah, no, this is the end.
I don't think I finished my sentence. That was me. So, as you enter this garden, which at this time of the evening is relatively deserted, there's not really anybody in it. There's folks like walking the streets nearby, but not actually within this garden, which is kind of like a little preserve of nature within the city, and it's maintained, but only to a certain degree. It's kind of like it's been left to be like a little wild spot within all this urban growth. And as you enter there, it's like it has its own sort of like micro weather system. Like the wind is, I mean, and it's a noble villa as well, by the way. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. And all the gardens are surrounded by buildings that are covered in ivy as well. That's another feature I forgot to mention. But yeah, it has its own kind of like breeze that seems independent of the general weather that's happening in the city beyond its perimeters. So, what do you do while you're in there, Bob Grog? I'm assuming Grog just stomped straight in, you know, just galumphing.
We've got to be very careful because we need to find the right people.
He's like, okay.
And then, like, sort of like makes no attempt at all to conceal his actions. And I go straight into the middle of the courtyard, and then kind of sort of like look at various like doors and windows and see if there's like any obvious sort of like would I know about thieves' cant not being a thief?
Probably not. No, you've never been trained to see the signs or interpret them. Then no. I mean, you know of it, but you wouldn't know to see it. You know, you wouldn't. It just looked like some graffiti or disguised as something within the brickwork or fencing or whatever. But I mean, this villa garden, which is quite a large little preserve, like nature preserve. You could you do
There's no one else.
No, there's nobody else in here, and the lights are off in the villas at the minute. That you can see, there doesn't appear to be anybody inhabiting those houses this evening.
Yeah, so can I see it? Wait, can I see a pattern? Can I see anything on one of these doors that kind of singles it out amongst the others?
Do a perception check for me, please.
Not a great 12.
Oh dear. So you don't see anything, but the wind carries a whispered voice, which you hear faintly. It's like, hello, 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 hello.
Does Grog hear it as well?
Yeah.
Like, who are you? Kind of like sort of looks round and can't see anything.
I think there are people here.
So the voice, the disembodied voice on the wind, which is a female voice, says, "I am Sheriff. Who are you?"
We're What's this group called?
They're representatives of the Emerald Enclave in the city.
Yeah, we're looking for the Emerald Enclave.
So it's like, you are speaking with them now. I represent them here.
Awesome.
What do you need?
Yeah, can you just come out of the shadows and talk normally?
No.
Oh, okay. We're looking for help.
Help with what?
Information. I don't really know.
Forming alliance.
I wasn't paying attention. I think I'm in the Underdark.
We're trying to form alliances.
Misty's honest.
We're trying to get into the Underdark.
On the mountain.
It's important, otherwise the whole universe is going to disappear.
You're not. That's not what's happening at all.
In the Undermountain.
I'm rolling with it. Aaron.
Roll the one, I'm sticking with it.
Oh god. All right.
His brain,
Sorry.
Everybody's brain, I think, rolled one.
Sorry. So Max, you went the meeting with the Open Lord of Waterdeep, Laeral Silhan, basically ended with you being tasked with recruiting the factions within the city to help in the defence of the city against this invasion of gargantuan monsters that are supposedly on their way to try and level the city.
To sort of help the city watch, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like they need all hands on deck, basically, to prepare for this. Everybody has to be united.
Building an army.
So all the disputes and petty rivalries within between all the different factions, Laeral Silvan's hoping that this cause will unite them all temporarily in order to save Waterdeep from destruction. But you need to go and speak to these folks to. It's not listening. Did you hear that, Max?
No, I am.
Oh, okay.
That's a little cat. Okay, well, I asked.
Yeah, we're looking for an alliance. We just need. We need you to take one for the team and be part of the watch. We need to protect the town against the bad things. Is that something you're interested in? Please.
We already.
I'm pretty sure we need the Underdark too. No, I'm not even close.
The voice replies, "We already protect the city as part of a Lord's alliance. What more would you ask of us?"
Oh, I don't know.
Who sent you?
The Xanathars Guild?
No.
The Black Staff.
The Lords of Waterdeep.
I don't know, I just blow things up. Zero sent us. We need your support. No? Is that not right? Hans, tell me what to say.
The Open Lord of Waterdeep said you.
Open Lord of Waterdeep.
Open Lord of Waterdeep?
Deep?
It makes no sense to me.
You broke Aaron. I think you've got it in the bag, man. I think you've got it in the bag. You can all just relax.
Oh fuck! I hope no one's watching this episode.
I hope they are. It's brilliant.
This is the worst episode to date.
No, it's the best.
Aaron's 100
No, fuck, don't say that.
They might watch us like crisps.
We've got 2 viewers.
Yeah, one of them's Mike. The other one's Pat.
Mike.
Okay, right. Just roll a
He's got it.
persuasion check
Why?
Nailed it. Roll
No.
with advantage. even though you used the wrong name.
24.
Wow, that's pretty damn good. Who needs roleplay when you can just roll dice and that solves the problem for you, eh? Okay, so she says, "We will help. What do you need of us? Where should we gather?"
Castle Ward.
The
Beyond the mountain. No.
Castle Ward. Castle Ward.
Castle Ward. Castle Ward. That's a good place.
Tell them to look for the hippo. Dorabeth.
I'm getting you hippos. I think I need one. Please.
You sound like the Skeksis.
So, sensing your just complete desperation and lack of competence in this negotiation, the voice of Jerif says, "We will seek the open Lord for further instruction. You may leave."
Yeah.
Oh, good. What was that about?
Oh my god.
Okay.
It's like Bog had a
I
stroke.
walk out before
Takes himself well.
Okay. So, with that barely accomplished, Kayla, you are heading to the Catalanta's mansion
In
villa
the Sea Ward.
is it the Sea Ward? I can't remember. Catalanta Villa.
I think I have Sea Ward written.
Yes, it is Sea Ward. You're absolutely correct. So. Fortunately, I've got something to refer to here. Oh, everything is so slow today. What is going on?
Whole world's online.
I think so. The world rolled a 1.
Yeah. Sure did.
Yeah. Oh god, this is terrible. Nothing's working. Okay. Anyway, theatre of the mind. Fuck it. So as you approach their villa, you notice that it has stark white walls, a gleaming crimson roof with turrets, and even among the other opulent estates of the Sea Ward that you're travelling through, this is an impressive structure. It's a 3-story mansion in the midst of a picturesque green garden dappled with hedges and various water features, and the estate is surrounded by a tall white brick wall with a single wrought iron gate as its entrance, and there's a crest emblazoned upon the gate of a green Y overlapped with a stylized goose being fed, and there are armoured guards that are standing at attention on either side of this gate. As you approach, they look to you like, "Can we help you, madam?"
Yes. I've been sent by the Blackstaff to seek help from the Castellan's family. Will you let me through?
Help from the Black Staff? What could they possibly require of our Lord and Lady? I might need a bit more information.
That's for them to hear.
And what are your credentials? Who are you? Are you one of Force Grey? What? What proof do you have that you speak on their behalf?
Got anything that we could show? Have we got anything from?
I don't think so.
Like a writ.
Like a writ.
Go with the Underdark.
Is this the... Wait, sorry. Is this the... God, what are they called?
This is Castle Answers.
Yeah, we recall hearing talk about them ties to devil worshipping cult Infernal Pact, by the way. That's
Yes. Yes, I do remember that. But with the gods, though. I'm trying to think of a good lie. Oh God. I don't want to lie. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna.
Are they tieflings? Do we know?
Yeah. What's the gods like?
The gods, they're just humans.
Okay. Is this group are they tieflings?
What group?
What, the Castellans?
They're human nobles.
They're human.
Yeah.
Interesting. Are you
Because the rumors
infernal?
that we heard had things to do with their children, possibly. Since I don't remember what we heard.
Wait, what?
There was something written about them in Has you'd written a note of it, haven't you? What
Oh,
was it?
yeah. Yeah, there was a note of, in the book of beneficiary. God, I forgot her name. The slime.
The lady who Bob and
Oh.
Yeah, let me find her name.
I'm really into that.
Sorry, what were you doing?
We're just trying to remember what we know about
Sorry,
the
yeah.
Castellanti. Wait, is it devil worship or are they?
Vera Control was something.
I'm trying.
Because we know the Castellanders were in her ledger of beneficiaries, being paid quite a lot for these artifacts to be
Statues.
Yeah, do you remember?
Yeah.
These guys provided a lot of cashola, apparently.
And what was the origin of the bit about devil worshipping? What's that about?
That was something that I think Vera told us, or was that code? Some of the Dunphings told us about that.
Rumours.
Rumours, right?
Yeah, ties to devil worshipping cult and infernal pact.
A pact.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some bad juju.
Okay.
Is your heritage infernal?
She doesn't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I don't know.
How high's your charisma?
I'm just.
So the gods are like, I mean, do you have anything you can produce to prove the provenance of your claims
No, I
representing? Well, how are we to take?
But I need
We
to
just
speak
take
with
your
them.
word. So do some kind of check to get past the guards. I mean, what
I
do
don't
you
know
want?
whether I should try and do an intimidation.
Go
I'm
with
gonna.
the highest stat.
Well, I would. I think what I'll. So I had a I can hear my voice a little bit again. This is putting me off. Okay, I'm gonna try and debate that. I'm gonna use thaumaturgy to try and fly your eyes and just look generally a bit demonic and kind of be like, I need to speak to them about things.
Okay.
Sorry, my voice is really putting me off right now.
You're getting echo again.
Yeah, it's started echoing again. It's not too bad, but
what you can do is you can mute Aaron whilst
oh maybe yeah.
talking. It's a bit of a dance, but you have to remember to obviously unmute.
Oh
It
yeah.
can help if you just talking.
Yeah, that might work. Good idea. So true. Okay, yeah. So I'm just gonna do a. I'm just gonna try and intimidate them. That wasn't a very good example of trying to intimidate them, but that's what I'm gonna try and do.
Okay, yeah.
It was an 18.
18. Okay, that's good. Just, are you? Let me know if you can. You still hear me now? Can you hear me? Talking.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Are you getting echo from your own voice still?
Echo. Slightly, but not as bad.
No.
It's all of us. It more or less started as soon as the stream actually stopped, but we've got by this far fine. Don't worry about it.
So, can you hear me now?
We've never had a problem hearing you, it's just that we hear ourselves. But like I say, we'll figure it out.
Don't worry,
next
it's
time.
really not a big deal.
Are you still getting an echo now?
Yeah.
I just
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, Aaron. Carry on. You rather
We can test all this out later.
Right, the check works, and the guards take a step back, frightened by your display of demonic intent, and they're like, yeah, and they're like, well, please don't condemn us to hell, the 9 hells. Just we'll let you in, but you've got to promise you won't harm the children. If you'll allow us to escort you through, we'll try to arrange a meeting with the master for you.
I'm simply here to speak with your master.
So they unlock the gates, and one of them, while still remaining on guard, the other one leads you in. He says, "Please follow me, Mom," and he leads you through the gardens to the actual manse, the mansion, and as you enter the main hall, one of the things that strikes you as you enter into this place is this huge harpsichord that's sitting to one side of the entrance, and there's a crimson carpet that runs down the entire length of the hall, towards an open door to a foyer beyond. There's a crystal chandelier above you, which with light reflects off in refracting patterns, and there's more than 3 dozen holy symbols perched on wall shelves, each in the form of a silver chalice with a golden sun etched onto its exterior, and then a elderly gentleman of, what does he look like? Where's his description? I think this is the worst session I've ever done yet, to be honest. I feel like I should just fucking give up.
I'm all over the place. Don't worry.
I can't find anything.
Is this the Castellanter master?
He's basically their
Like
their
man
butler.
mouse?
Their butler. I'm trying to
Right, butler.
find his description so I can tell you about him. Whatever. He's an old fucking dude in a suit. Comes up to you. And he's like, we're not expecting any guests at this moment. Who might you be, madam, and why are you here? What's wrong with you, man, bringing an uninvited stranger into the premises? The children are at play. Would you jeopardise them? Just letting anybody in? And he's like, I'm sorry, sir, but she was very insistent. She says she's here on business for the Open Lord and the black stuff, a matter of some importance. And he's like, well, let's hear it then. What do you want, woman?
I need to speak directly with the Castellanter. This is for their ears only.
Well, you can count me as one of their ears. So if you intend to go any further within these premises, you must first explain yourself to me.
Very well. There is a danger to the city. Powers that be wish that the Castellanter put their aid towards that.
What kind of danger? The city's always in danger, within and without.
This is true. This is true. We've been told that there is a threat in this. We've been told that there is a threat on the way in the form of more giant monsters, and we just need as much help as possible. And I think that there is reason that the castles want to help.
Well, I mean, what proof do you have of this? Just coming to this place as a stranger and making these claims is, it's quite bold of you. I mean, why should I believe you? How do I know this isn't some ploy to get...
So desperate?
Say again, Kat, sorry.
Sorry, I said, would I... Yeah. If this wasn't so desperate, why do you think I would be so bold?
Perhaps you're here to rob us. Perhaps you're here to assassinate one of the Lord or the Lady. I don't know. Do a persuasion check.
Well, feel free to come in with us. I promise you I pose no harm to them.
Roll a persuasion check for me, please, Kat.
22.
22. Okay, that's very good. So your earnestness seems to get through his to his
Desperate times call for desperate
gruff
measures.
exterior, and he's like,
As
well,
they say.
the guard and I will escort you through the house to the Lord's reading room where he's currently in repose, and you can present your argument to him directly. But bear in mind, if you should try anything, we are fully prepared to kill you on the spot. You understand this? You're taking a big risk here. Coming in unannounced.
Top hospitality.
Well, come on then, let's get this over with. So they lead you through the house into a nook off the foyer. And as you enter, you can see there's light pouring into the room through 4 tall bay windows that look out onto a butterfly garden where you can see many of those insects fluttering around in dizzying array, like all varieties. The furnishings are luxurious, including an armchair and a small side table with a wine glass sitting atop it on a small book. And the door in the northern wall has a butterfly-shaped stained glass peephole looking out into the garden. And sitting at a desk nearby is a man of middle age, of obvious fine breeding. Like his clothing is typically opulent, like that of the nobility of Waterdeep. And he has a pointed beard and a brushed back, coiffed mane of hair. Like he's got an impressive head of hair, and he's reading a book and furiously taking notes in his journal. And when the butler enters, he doesn't immediately look up. He just kind of like does a cursory glance. And then when he sees you, he's like, "What's the meaning of this? Who are you? Why do you disturb me in the middle of my important work? What's going on?"
I'm terribly sorry to disturb you, Lydia, but I'm here from the Lords of Waterdeep and the Blackstaff, and we would like to request your aid with matters to do with the safety of the entire city. We believe there is a danger on the way, which is going to attack the castle ward. Large monsters from, well, we've yet to find out where, but
you were cutting out really badly for me there, Kat. I'm sorry.
sorry.
What was the last part that you said there?
I was just saying, that was me correcting myself, saying I'm not it wasn't in character.
Okay. So you've come here on behalf of the Blackstaff and the Open Lord. What's so pressing that a stranger would arrive at our door requesting aid? What's going on? Please tell me more. Explain yourself.
Well, we have proof. There's a threat. Oh God,
Kat, you can't be doing any worse than I am, and I'm supposed to be running this fucking game, so don't worry.
I'm trying to like mute.
I had to write down what I was going to say, but that did the trick.
Yeah, I should have done that. Yes. There is a very large threat coming from another world, form of humongous monsters, and we need all the help we can get. We're going to all the major figures within the city right now. Does the Castellans not want to show their power and represent their house to defend the city?
He's like, well, of course. If this threat is as dire as you say, we all live here after all. We would of course defend our home. Our children's future depends upon it. But
it's a desperate time, and I'm sorry I can't come with reassurance for you. But we have no time to speak to the lords in person. We need help now.
Well, tell me, is this threat? Does it come from the Nine Hells? Is it an infernal threat? Is it abyssal? Is it? Where does it originate? Do you know?
Do we know much about it? What did how much did we get from the hippo?
What you've learned is that this is definitely abyssal in nature in some capacity. This is a demon threat to the material plane. So you have learnt that much, like that
Okay.
there is some axis of evil between a splinter faction of the Zentarim, some of the demon lords of the Abyss, and a third group who are mysterious and their origins are unknown, and they seem to be represented by this horned lord of some kind that you've recently learned from the kid cultist that you deprogrammed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't know where from, or it doesn't match any lore or rumour that you've heard about historically or currently in Faerun. So they could be an extra planar threat. You don't know. But that's just what you've kind of it's kind of been.
Well, we know
hinted
they're
at.
coming from.
Yeah. So it's like a three-tiered coalition between three separate forces that all have a similar interest, that are planning to wipe the planet of Toriel clean, to then reshape it to their liking. So this is that's what you learn. So I mean, if you can paraphrase that to Lord Castellanter, and he says abyssal. For a moment,
strong reason to believe that.
It's like for a moment I thought this might originate from the Nine Hells. If you can see from the book I'm reading, and he holds it up in his hands, it's like I'm very interested in the lore and study of the Nine Hells, and the book is titled "The Rise and Fall of Hellgate Keep." Just for your interest, he's like I might have been able to give a little bit more advice. I'm something of an expert in those matters culturally and historically. But yeah, anyway, ignore me. It's just a silly old man's hobby.
Well, it sounds like it could actually be very helpful.
Especially since we're in a contract with some fucking demons.
It's like, well, perhaps if we...
I'm also very interested in that, because...
perhaps if we survive this threat by aiding each other, you might... if you have an interest, and I see you're obviously infernal descent.
I know little of the origin of
perhaps we could help you with that, and then you could help us in return. If we should survive this, we could be great benefit to each other. Perhaps there are things I would like to discuss with you. Actually, yes. Do a.
Well, I was abandoned very young, so I know very little to anything. I feel like we personally of interest.
Well, yes. I mean, we have contacts. We could that have even greater knowledge than I about such things. We could help determine where you're from and who you are descended from. Like I say, we could be mutually beneficial to us both to learn these things. You scratch our back, we'll scratch yours, as the saying goes. So yes, you can count on our aid. We will muster every bit of force and influence we have within the city to marshal efforts toward cooperating with the Open Lord and the militia to defend our city from this threat. You just tell us where we need to go. We will provide our own small forces and then also acquire some of our friends' own personal militias to contribute towards this. So you can count on us. But I will hold you to that talk should we survive. You must come and see me again, and I will introduce you to my wife and the children. You must get to know them too. The wife is also fascinated by infernal lore and infernal things. He says, and he's got this distracted air, like he's trying. Just do an insight check for me, please, Kat.
Sure.
This guy wants to wear your skin, man.
Yeah, maybe.
Bold mission.
I'll bring one of you guys.
Who doesn't want to wear our skin?
Let's bring out
That
the
was 18.
18. So you get the feeling that he keeps holding himself back from saying too much to you. Like he keeps going so far, and then he's pulling it back from getting too intimate or detailed with you. So he's like, I mean, I assume you have other pressing matters in relationship to this
Yes.
this threat. So please do not let me keep you waiting. You may leave and like you say, tell us where to go, and we will be there.
Yes, please send your forces to the castle ward.
Right away. As soon as you leave, I will get on it. We will be there in full
Thank you
effect.
very much for your aid.
Thank you. As I say,
I'll be going.
should we come out of the other side of this, we'll be seeing you soon, I hope. Yes. Okay. Very good. Farewell.
Hello.
Good luck. Gods be with you. And the guard and the butler is like, right this way then, madam. I believe you got what you came here for.
Yes.
The master's wishes are mine to undertake, so you consider it done. And he's like, we'll see you again sometime, perhaps, yes?
Yes.
And they escort you out of the gates, back onto the streets, and the guard closes the iron raw gate after him and resumes his position at the wall, and he's like, yep, the only way then, ma'am, thank you, please, please don't hurt me.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you.
Right you are, yep, very good. So
My father's room.
you did that, you did it. So...
Well, that went okay. I thought you'd get sent to
Yeah.
hell or something.
Well, I thought it might have gotten more scary and demon-like, but yeah, it turns out.
So,
We made a deal with the devils.
Shard Shunners, did you want to do that instead
Well,
of
something like that might do,
what
I
was
guess.
Cray doing?
Jarlaxle.
Oh, you're going to see Jarlax. Feck. Okay.
Oh.
Right, well, we should probably do that next. Okay. So, I mean...
doesn't know what Terrasques is.
I know.
Cray does, by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
knows him by reputation, but...
You know, but what is that their mercenary group?
He's got a drow mercenary. Well, drow.
So, how are you going to go about finding where he is? Like, what do you want to do?
Huh. Where's like the nearest unsavoury bar tavern?
To the castle ward? I don't know, really. Just make one up. Just pick somewhere. Do a perception roll for me and see if you can find somewhere that looks disreputable on your way down towards down through the city.
20, non-natural.
20. Okay, so the dock wards tend to be where most of the sort of unsavoury stuff is conducted in Waterdeep. So
I'll go to the Bloody Fist.
the Bloody Fist. Okay, so you go to the Bloody Fist, and as you enter it, there's already like several fights underway, and there's an awful lot of commotion and jocularity. People singing drunken like ballads and sailing songs, and none of them are in time, or well, you know, there's like several different verses going on for the same song at the same time. It's a cacophony.
Before I go in, I'll put on an eye patch,
Okay.
and that's it.
And it's inhabited by various different types of races. You know, all sorts are in here. It's a hive of scum and villainy, and you can expect to find pretty much anything in here other than an illithid. It's probably the only thing you won't see in here.
Okay.
And
I'll do a scan first, see if I can see any drow, which is probably going to be low.
okay, yeah,
6.
6.
Yeah.
Okay, there are definitely no drow in here.
Okay. That was a long shot. I'll go to the bar.
Yeah.
And the town keeper.
Okay.
Hello, Matt. What is it? Are they a human or a?
I don't know. Let's say they're a half orc.
Okay. Oh, okay.
He's like, hello.
Hello there.
What could I get ya?
Something, a heady beer, please.
All our beers are heady.
One of them.
Heady guaranteed.
Sounds good.
Mostly head.
Oh.
I hope you like froth.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he puts this sudsy tankard down in front of you, which slops out, and it is mainly just like foam just billowing out the top of it. Makes you sneeze if you get it up your nostrils.
I'll put the money on the counter with my finger still on it.
And he goes to take it, and he's like, "What? You got your beer? What do you want
I'll
more?"
lean in.
I'm looking for somebody.
Yeah. Who?
Looking for Jorlaxel the Drow.
Oh yeah. Well. That's gonna cost you a bit more.
How much?
How much you got?
I'll put, let's see. How much gold? I'll give him, I don't know, 5 gold?
Okay. So he's like, yeah, that's more than enough. But I can smell the jerky you've got. I'm out. Can I have some?
Okay, I'll give him the what's left of the wrap of jerky.
He's like, whoa, you're very kind. You'll get your information. And he's like,
Where should I go?
see that cloaked figure right at the back with his foot up on that halfling who's kneeling down on the floor.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. But you try telling him not to do it. He says they're the most comfortable footrests in the whole of Toril.
Strange job.
Well, they ain't paid. It's under threat of death.
Oh, that makes sense now.
Yeah, I mean, who'd do that for no amount of money? If you've got any self-respect.
I've seen some weird shit.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Sometimes I wish I was blind. But then I'd still see it in my mind, wouldn't I?
I'll give him my eye patch.
There you go.
Oh, that might help.
You
He
just
puts
need
it
another
on.
one.
It's like, you know what, that's better. Well, looks better this way. Where are you? And he's like totally looking in the wrong direction.
I'm this way.
Oh yeah, I thought you disappeared. Thought you'd gone indivisible. Yeah, anyway, that cloaked figure over there.
So just go over and that.
Well, how you approach him's up to you, but they'll know.
Right.
They'll know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy your suds.
Yeah.
Don't get it up your nose.
I just down it and just bash it on the counter.
I might have to be own heart.
I need the courage.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you around.
I'll just
Unless you're dead.
You too.
I spin on the spot and just directly walk towards them.
Okay. So you can see this figure with their boots up. Features completely concealed by this black cloak with a deep hood. And
I have my hands out like this.
and they have got their feet up on a halfling that they're making, it's like on all fours on the floor, resting on them. And the halfling is like shaking. You hear him go, "Is that enough now? Can I please just stop for a moment? It's hurting my back. I'm not sure I can maintain this position for much longer." And they don't say anything. They just raise like a pipe to their mouth, take a drag, and this smoke billows out from the depths of the hood.
Okay, let's walk in.
Yeah.
Hello.
So the hood, like very slightly, like inclines towards you, but doesn't reveal any of the features. They don't say anything.
How would you like to be involved in some fortune and glory?
So they say, "Fortune interests me greatly."
Great. Because the city's about to be attacked by giant monsters, and any who throw their hat in will be greatly rewarded.
How big a reward?
I don't know. What's the biggest number you know? I don't know many.
I can imagine quite a lot.
Well, there you go then.
You have this on you now.
Not me. Look at me.
Yes.
No, it's from the Lord of Waterdeep.
Ah, you have the backing of the government of the city.
Yeah, I'm official.
Do you have anything to prove this?
Do I?
None of you prepared any. You didn't ask for anything. You didn't. What can I do? You didn't. You didn't ask for a writ. You didn't ask for a contract. You didn't ask.
I don't. I can go get some.
It's like, how long would it take you? If this threat is as pressing as you say,
It's a good
perhaps
question.
everything will have ended by the time you return.
Well, you'll know I'm telling the truth when these giant monsters start smashing through Castle Ward.
Do a persuasion check.
18?
He's like, I think I believe you.
Well, that's because I'm telling the truth. I never lie.
At least you believe this. It's like, I am interested. What is it you want from me?
We have been tasked with forming alliances around the city with factions. Your name was put, well, the name was put forward.
The name? What name?
Terrasques.
Oh, yes.
Yes. A wink.
Yeah, so he's like, yeah, that is a name that is intimately familiar to me.
Good. Good. Yeah. Do you know the man?
Yes, I know him very well.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, so that's it basically. Recruit factions, stop the threat of the castle ward. Yeah, I think that's it.
So, what would be required of Jarlaxle's?
I think we need.
What kind of commitment are we talking here?
That's as much as I know, I think.
Well, where are we to go? Where?
I think we are meeting at the castle ward. There is a hippo woman who is training people to deal with kaijus.
A gift. They can be irksome.
Yeah.
I might have to ask for more money for the sheer inconvenience of dealing with one of their kind.
Yeah, I take that up with the Waterdeep people.
I will pass your message on to Jarlaxle and let you know. How can I communicate their declination or acceptance of such a contract?
I would first go to the hippo woman, and then I think the black staff is there as well.
Oh, the black staff is involved.
Yeah, everyone's going to be involved. It's going to be a huge battle. We could all die.
Well, what is to stop us from simply leaving? I mean, what is to stop Jarlaxle?
Oh, I forgot. The whole world's going to get destroyed. That was the other bit.
But this threat is always being.
Everyone will get turned into jelly people.
I'm not sure I like the sound of that.
No,
if everyone else is a jelly person, there is nothing for us to do.
Yeah, it's going to ruin everything. Yeah.
Okay. I will talk to Jarlaxle and we will have him come to the castle ward with the Bragan Death, and we'll see if the money is good enough and the threat seems real. We will do our bit.
Yeah.
After all, as
you
you say, if everyone is a jelly person and the place is destroyed, what is there to play with? What is there to do? No one profits from such a
exactly.
thing.
They want everyone to be made of jelly.
The more you say it, the sillier it sounds.
They're all oozy and weird. Blood.
Your earnestness has convinced me.
Yeah, I've killed quite a few of them. They're disgusting.
Yes. Well, okay, my strange friend.
Did you see the giant colossus that went through the city?
I was observing it.
Yeah, we stopped that.
You did. You are one of these what they call misfits.
That's
misfit
it.
group.
Yeah, high five.
I do not know that. But I appreciate the sentiment.
Yeah,
Nice try.
that's me. One of them.
Well, this is good. You prevented my place of business from being completely and utterly destroyed. So maybe I have you to thank for that.
It's the least I could do.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, in knowing this, I am even more inclined to join in. Perhaps I feel I owe Jarl Axel rather owes you a favour for such a thing.
Well, if we all live after this horrible battle, you can find me at the what's happening? The bowels of the earth. We're the new owners of the bowels of the earth, where we'll be taking business.
No, you're not. He's not the owner.
I think the guy took it back.
Yeah. It's like, well, yeah, I am familiar with the place, both in its original form and in its current state of disrepair. But yeah, if I can find you there or pass a message on, I will do so.
Great.
Perhaps maybe you could do something for the Jarl Axel when all of this is over.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. See you then.
Bye then.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, little man, you may have a rest. And he takes his boots off and allows the halfling to collapse to the floor and recover.
For a second there, I thought he was calling Cray Cray a little man, and I was like, damn.
Right then, I'll leave and I'll wave to the barkeep and make my way out.
Okay. He's like, thanks for the eye patch.
You're welcome.
My headache's gone. Okay, so that just leaves Bramble in the Xanathar's hideout.
Yep.
Oh, Christ.
Being escorted by a goblin to meet with Grumshar, the leader of this particular band. So the goblin, you know what? They had names and now I've forgotten what they are. Did you make a note, Has, by any chance?
No, I forgot to know the name.
Xanathar's girl.
Whatever. The goblin is what it will be referred to from this point forwards.
There was two.
There was two. One stayed back to continue his watch. So
I kind of blackmailed them both, didn't I?
yeah.
Yeah, because the other didn't, and they said they were going to shoot me, and I'm
Not
like,
going to tell the boss
yeah,
that they haven't got good equipment.
exactly.
So yeah, as you enter through a threadbare set of curtains that divide this passageway from the chamber beyond, you see in the middle of this kind of bare stone, kind of, for want of a better word, throne room. It's like a crude throne has been made from salvaged blocks from all over the place. There's a muscular half-orc in dingy, like, sweat-stained robes, standing with his foot on the steps leading up to the throne, and he's dictating something to a human, like clerk of some kind of scrivener, and the half-orc is he's in mid sentence, and he's like, and that is when I cut his giblets off, and the goblin's like,
Boss, sorry to interrupt. We have a visitor. I think you might want to see. He's got something very important to say. I'm sorry for disturbing you in the midst of your memoirs. It's important. Please don't kill me.
So the orc's like, he's like, how dare you? We will talk about this later. This is the most important section of the entire novel. He's like, out from my sight, out before I poke at your eyes. And the goblin's like, yes, boss, I'm sorry, I will return to our post meeting. I'm sorry. And he scurries out, and the human and the orc turn to him and is like, speak then, fool! Your life is on the line. Unless I like what I hear, you will also be blinded and have your giblets cut off.
Rather extremely that, isn't it? That you lit off.
Come on,
I
time
am
is wasting.
Of the Misfits.
The Misfits, you say? Hold your tongue. Your reputation precedes you. You stopped that thingy from trampling all over the city, did you not?
Yes, I did.
Yes, you saved me some money that day. Yes, and earned me some as well. We had bets going. Yes. Sorry, continue.
Someone down here owes me money. Does that mean someone down here owes me money?
Owes you money? No. They don't owe you money. Why would they owe you money? Did you place a bet?
Oh no, but you're betting on me that way,
No, we were betting on whether that thing would come stomping through the city or not, or go astray. And it did. So I won that bet. Pretty penny. It cost. It hurt me as well. Very good. Yes. For that alone, I'm willing to listen to whatever claptrap is about to fall from your mouth.
Before you utter any nonsense more further, I've been sent from the Lords of the Open Lord of Waterdeep and the Blackstaff to recruit you for a mission. They don't get along with that would be so unfortunately Waterdeep is under attack and we need your help to keep it safe. What do you say?
Right. By my help, you mean my immediate surroundings and subordinates, or the Xanathar's guild abroad, like.
Yes.
And what's in it for us? What? Why should we help you? Is there a reward? Will we gain a place on the council of the Lords of Waterdeep?
That would be put into question.
I'd quite like to be a mass lord, I think.
I'm not sure your face. I'm sure your face was better behind your mask. Yes, definitely.
Oh, you're a snarky one, aren't you? It's a good job I'm interested, otherwise I'd flay you alive. So, anything else?
The Zevran possibly also might be involved at the end of this. I will turn an eye if you were to. I'm sure the rest of my friends might turn an eye if you were to take them out there and then. I know how you two groups are at each other's throat.
The mention of that bunch of fools is already making me like this less. So the Zhentarim are involved. We're helping the Zhentarim. Why should we do that?
There's a split faction of the Zhentarim, as I'm sure you are aware, as well as you are, that caused all of this, and what is it? The enemy of my enemy is my friend?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So in that, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. In that case, if you two come together to take care of this immediate danger, they would be weakened, the Zhentarim, and you could take the better of them. You could kill two birds with one stone. A place up there instead of down here in the dreamy sewers, and an entry to the Zhentarim in Waterdeep. Just added bonus if you think about it.
Well, if this threat is so dire that you require the Zhentarim and the Xanathar Guild to unite in cooperation against it, why shouldn't we just let it happen and wipe all of you tossers out, so that we can then assume control? Why should we lift a finger?
Because it'll wipe all of you tossers down here.
Will it though? Will it? Do you know how deep our lairs go? Do you know the extent of our master's power? Will it though? You don't know.
You're right, but I don't have time to find out.
Well,
Make a decision.
I'm not convinced. But what more is in it for us? We could sit it out.
What more do you want?
We could retreat to the Undermountain and survive like roaches.
The Undermountain is where it's coming from.
Is
It's
it?
where us, the Misfits, and Vera are going to go down. Unless you want to come down there with us and fight this head on. Your name's written.
We have heard nothing from the from below about a threat coming from the Undermountain. We would know. We have eyes everywhere down there, and aside from the usual weird rumblings that are always happening there, interdimensional or other, we have not seen anything other than some platoon of stupid hippo people galumphing and parading around, causing all sorts of disruption and getting themselves killed by sticking their big fat snouts into places where they don't belong. That's the most recent news we've heard of. No threat to the surface.
So, just out of curiosity, they haven't heard of that invisible, it wasn't a castle. What was it?
I'm surprised his scouts haven't heard anything if he's in the mountain.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Haz? What are you referring to? The Shadow Thieves hideout in the mountains. Is that what you're talking about? The one that's disguised.
Yeah, where the child came from?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
shadow. That's like a Shadow Thieves enclave, apparently.
Yeah.
Do you ask him that?
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask.
He's like, oh, we've heard about that. And of course, I mean, they're always on the periphery of the city, trying to sneak their way in and gain a greater foothold, but they've long been ousted. They're not a power to be concerned about, especially recently recruiting children. I mean, what do you hope to gain in that? It's stupid.
What if I told you there were what if I told you if there was a sect of Zentrum that gone awry?
Oh,
That's
really
what-
now? Not Shadow Thieves at all. Zentrim, you say? And, not...
Well, there was Zentrum, but now there's something else.
So what, an offshoot? A splinter...
Yes.
Splinter group of some
Splinter
kind?
faction.
What, like Manchun's lot of maniacs and zealots, or something else?
Yes, perhaps. I don't know what that is, but I'm just going to say yes.
But not associated with Manchun, say. It's alright, you don't have to know. You react how you want, Brandon.
Alright. This is getting on my nerves.
Well, listen, it's getting on my nerves as well. But I'll give you one last chance. So, come on, convince me. Why should we? Why should we, eh? Why should I go and tell Xanathar that we need to chip into this effort to fight this threat that's supposedly coming to destroy the city?
Because if Xanathar wants to survive, and if you want to strive and survive both here and on top, this needs your attention, your immediate attention. Because if not, what have you done here? If I look around me, how big is this? Looking at it, I'm judging myself, and I know how many people I can take on. Theoretically, can I take these guys on?
Well,
if I were to?
there are a couple couple of exits on either side wall, and the throne is kind of at the rear, in the rear middle wall where he's standing upon. And you don't know how many other Xanathar Guild operatives are down here. You've only just been led to this one specific area because that's where you said you wanted to go. But just do a perception check for me, and I'll give you an idea if you roll well.
18 plus.
You know what?
5.
You know what? I haven't unmuted any of the mics or anything, so we're recording nothing. We're recording no sound. Fuck me.
We're live on Twitch though.
What do you mean?
We're not recording any sound, like at all.
It's alright.
You're on Twitch.
Coming through live.
Yeah, I listened to it on Twitch.
Really? You can actually hear sound.
Yeah, because that's why I've been like looking at the
because I've just unmuted
the
it
echo
now,
issue.
but you were hearing sound on Twitch already.
Yeah. This is before when Kayla was doing her stuff. I was like checking it out.
Something
The
with
echo
our
issue?
setup has gone real squiffy today with audio. I don't know what the fuck the problem is.
We're manually muting ourselves.
But, so sound is definitely
If that's what
it's
you
definitely been recording sound through Twitch.
I think so.
Oh god. Anyway,
Wait,
sorry, Bramble. Yeah, what did you get?
No, go ahead. It was 18 plus 5.
Oh, that's good. So, as with
23.
the goblins that were kind of trying to conceal themselves behind like slots in the wall, like within this hideout, there are areas between the blocks that comprise the passages and that you travel through. There's like very thin slots, just big enough to fire an arrow head through, and you sense that there are people behind them, like poised with crossbows perhaps or short bows. So you get a feeling that like rats within the walls, this place is rife with other agents of the Xanathar Guild.
With life,
yeah. So you perhaps wouldn't come out of this too well if you decided to.
So I was just going to point out the fact that if I were to get down here so easy, knowing that you have all of this around you, and I'll point to like the cracks in the wall that I see. When they come, you would have no chance without us, and if you help us, we will help you in return.
So roll a persuasion check for me, please.
Oh yeah. $19.
Okay, she's like,
I got plus 4.
I am choosing to believe. I will send a dispatch to Xanathar immediately and entreat him to marshal some forces in defence of the city. We can put aside our differences long enough to further our own interests as well as as after all, if this place is destroyed, there's nothing for us to profit from, is there? Like you say, it's a fair point. It's rational, and I understand it. So, as greedy as we might be, and I especially, I'm a very avaricious individual. If there's nothing to steal, nobody to steal from, or no one to climb over to get where I want to be next, then I gain nothing. So yeah, I'll do this. I'll do this for you. And so where should we be when you need us?
It was the southern ward we said, right? Castle ward, that was it.
So we're just to report
meet us all
there
at the castle ward.
to the watch.
Yes.
And we won't be arrested, despite some of us being known
No.
felons. And we won't be.
No. I'll make sure of this myself.
You guarantee this?
Will I? Question mark. Cross my heart and hope to die. No.
Well, should a few zenty bastards fall amongst the chaos, then you'll turn a blind eye to that, will you, eh?
Oh yes, I even know one personally. Unfortunately,
Well, you
wouldn't mind seeing
unlucky
him go
bugger.
down.
My mic in the firing line.
Perhaps we'll do
Pushing
you a
the
favour
deal.
and shiv him while he's not looking. You tell me who he is, what he looks like. We'll put one in his back.
Oh, you'd smell him from a mile
Uh-oh.
off. Quite a fishy fella.
Quite a fishy fella, you'll say. Well, you don't smell so pleasant yourself, chum. In fact, there's a distinctly pooey odour coming off you, which I can smell even down here.
Oh, is that still
I
on?
was going to say, down in the sewer, that's quite the ironic statement, isn't it?
He's like, well, yes, you have a fair point. Well, anyway, be on your way then. I'll see to it. You have my word. And if I,
Thank you. What's this guy's name?
Grumshaw.
Oh yeah, Grimshaw. I'll be
Grimshaw.
sure to report to Umvira about your Grimshaw and your.
The Blackstaff? Oh, well, I'd be afraid that she'd burn my face off on sight.
No,
Okay,
I'll make
if
sure
you
that
say,
she knows.
if you say that this is all previous animosities are on hold for the moment for a united front, then fine, we'll do this. We'll do this. We'll be heroes for once, though I've often thought that we are the true heroes of the city. Anyway, think nothing would get
Well,
done
a
if it
matter
wasn't for the
of
guild, you
perception.
know.
What did you say, sir? Aaron?
Did you not get that?
I know. I just tapped out there. Like I zoned out for a second. Sorry.
Oh, he's just saying that he thinks the Xanathar Guild are the true heroes of the city and that nothing would really get done if it wasn't
Yeah.
for them.
I'm sure most of them think they're the heroes.
Yeah. I'm sure this is in your eyes. This is true as well as others. I'll make my way now, and
Yeah.
I'll just start to leave.
Yeah, very well. Now, if you can remember your way back, just speak to one of the slots in the wall and they'll point you in the right direction out.
Okay.
So off you go, Bramble.
And then I'll just somehow. Oh man, I was still gonna like sell out those two. I was waiting for a reason to sell out those two
Goblins.
the goblins.
Oh, you missed your
Yeah,
chance.
I just
man.
wanted to sell them out. I was like, yeah, let's sell them out.
Okay. Right. So
I feel like you should have gone Qui-Gon Jinn on it, and the above world has a symbiotic rod. Surely you must see that.
Oh, you see, I was gonna try to do. I was gonna go two ways. I was gonna see how powerful this guy was, and I was like, either I'm gonna threaten him into this, but then I was like, oh, when Aaron said there's two ways, like I'm gonna get fucked down here, I was like, maybe not. And the second way was I was gonna like kingpin him. I was like, okay, what if I said you could have a life up there untouched, just like not, as not as alive, but as like I will look, and I'll tell the I'll tell Umvira and the rest of them like how well you did, and they will ease off, maybe for a few months, and then come for you. I don't know. I was just gonna lie out the skin of my teeth. That was my plan.
well, so far you've all rolled so well. Like you've managed to recruit all of them. So I mean, we'll have to see how
Good job,
Sif
team.
does with the shard shunners when Pat rejoins us, and also Mike with the Zentering. So you've marshalled quite a lot of support there. So
Also, I've kind of
Misfits, bringing everyone together.
I've
You may
accidentally
have brought too many
assassinated.
people together though. What if they all start
Stay
infighting?
horse. Yeah.
Well,
I'm waiting for it.
that's tomorrow Misfits.
Tomorrow problems. Okay.
I
Well,
think I might put out a hit on.
I think we'll draw it to a close there,
Mike.
guys, because the audio is
Yeah.
a real problem this evening.
Oh, I've got to go anyway.
Yeah, so I'm sorry for
That's
keeping you later than
Yeah,
usual. Thanks for playing.
Sorry.
Thanks for anybody that watched this fucking debacle tonight. You've got the patience of saints if you did. Yeah, so we'll be back next Wednesday, hopefully at the same time, providing even more shit doesn't hit the fan.
No, it's gonna be fine.
Anyone got anything they want to promote or raise
I gotta
awareness
bounce.
of?
I'll see you guys later.
Thanks, Mike. See
See
you.
you, Mike.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Mike.
Yeah, Rogo as well, guys. So see you
Alright,
next week.
Fuck it, we'll just sign
Yeah.
off because I can't be bothered to do the spiel tonight. I'm not in the fucking mood for it. See you later, everybody. Thanks
Love you,
thanks for
bye.
playing. I'm sorry that was
Bye.
a total mess to begin
Max.
with. So see you soon. Speak to you
It's
again
not
soon.
your fault.
Bye.
Goodbye.